Garmin Vivofit Series. One of those watches that you put on your wrist and you can forget about it. Not because it's so light and the application is so minimalistic with smaller thickness and overall small profile, but also it doesn't require as much of a maintenance as the other watches, specifically smartwatches, do. You don't have to plug it in charge, you don't have to worry about updating it that much. And if you want, once a day, you will just hold the sync button and transfer your data to the Garmin app. Now, in this video, we're of course going to talk about the generations of the Vivofit that exist, including the Vivofit Juniors that you can give to your kids, to your grandsons, the ideology behind it, and what is my intake out of using all of them. And of course, in future videos, I'm gonna go over every single one of these generations one by one and tell you which one will I buy in 2026 as a used watch. Because pretty much finding these brand new is close to impossible. And if you do, people are asking like 3 times of the price of one. All right, so let's start with the idea of Vivofit. Vivofit pretty much is a lineup where you're getting into the Garmin lineups, into the fitness tracking arena with a very low budget. Like a Vivofit 2 in a used market, you're probably paying $40. A Vivofit 1 or Generation 1, you're probably paying $30. And a Vivofit 3 or Generation 3, you're paying around $50. And with Vivo Generation 4, you're paying around a little bit higher because this is really more advanced in compared to everybody else that I just showed, in about like $50 to $45 range. All right, if you're buying brand new with box and papers, then it can go up to $80 because this is the generation that you most likely can find it with box and papers and sort of like a new condition. Now, if you're going with the kids version, which becomes very similar to the Vivofit 3 or Generation 3, Vivofit 1 and 2 looks exactly the similar. They only have the Junior added to it. And Vivofit Junior 3 starts to become more advanced and a little bit bigger screen and all of that. All right, so which one out of these 4 aesthetically I like more? And let's go over them. So with Vivofit Generation 1 and 2, you're pretty much getting a similar application. The difference is really the user interface and this little buckle or lock buckle that they added towards the end of the band. All right, so this is of course aftermarket band. This is not the original Garmin band. The other ones all have original band other than the kids one. So the idea that I'm talking about with regards to the difference in user interface is that you are basically getting 1 or 2 extra functions with it. All right, and it really depends, are you gonna use those or not? Now, when it comes to the aesthetic perspective of it, really, to me at least, you're not getting that much of a difference, again, other than this lock. And this will come only if you're getting original Garmin band. On the aftermarket ones, you're most likely getting a buckle, so that will go away too. So how much do I like this? How much do I enjoy it on my hand? Now, I want to say that this is not for me, okay? This whole idea of having basically a rectangle on my hand that shows the time or the data sideways where, yeah, I can read it, but it's not comfortable and it's not for me, okay? And also, if I'm investing in a used watch, I would rather start from a $60 budget, not at 25, 35 to 40 bucks, okay? So aesthetic wise, I'm not really a fan because when I put these on, any of these two, like the generation 1 or generation 2, it's always the matter of, okay, how am I gonna read the data? All right? Because yeah, at this point, like it's standing like this right now, right? Horizontally and everything is fine. But are you gonna raise your hand horizontally and read the watch or read your data? The answer for me is no. I always do this, okay? Which now this information becomes kind of crooked. And I have to tilt my head and I have to guess. And yeah, I don't like it. As far as the band and how it sits, either generation, I really like it. I think it's a comfortable application, especially if you're getting the original Garmin band. I really like the lock. You can just twist it, and you see the red marks, it's open. You twist it, it's not open anymore, and it's locked. And I think the band is very interesting design, has an interesting design to it, and I'm gonna talk about why. And in terms of comfortness, I really like it. But the Vivo Smart Plus, Vivo Smart HR, they are following pretty much a similar pattern as these two. Okay? And so that maybe tells me that there's a market for it, that there are individuals who would rather have this sort of setup going on. But it's not a cup of tea for me. And I wouldn't say that if I have the money, I would go for these. As a matter of fact, I would rather go for generation 3 than the generation 2 and 1. Okay? Again, I like the way it sits. I know the screen is smaller, but I like the way it sits. And when I turn my wrist, it's going to tell me the information exactly how I want to see it or how I used to see it. Okay? So that's from an aesthetic perspective. But again, the band, I think it's a really nice touch that they added this lock. I like how comfortable it is. I like the design. It has a little angle to it, so it sits very comfortably on your wrist. Now, if you're talking about what we're getting with these watches in terms of user interface and basically navigating through the watch, you're only getting one button. On here, this little bump indicates that, and on this one, this is indicator as well. So you press on it, it changes the screen to the date, it comes back to the time, how many steps you've taken, and what is the goal, how many miles you walked, calories burned, time, and that's it. And similar thing here, calories burned, time, date, heart rate, and then steps taken, and what is your goal, and then miles, okay? So I don't like that. I know these are efficient information. These are what majority of runners, walkers, or even climbers would need, but it's not enough for me. And I don't like the presentation that they come with it. Okay, this black and white screen. I understand it's due to the fact that they want to basically save as much as battery as they can, because these watches do not require a charger, so they run on a watch battery. So I get the whole battery efficiency aspect of it. But I don't think seeing a little red or white or green would hurt here, okay? I mean, if the calorie indication or indicator here, it's in red, that will give it some, I don't know, liveliness to it. But to me, this is just too bored. I don't like it, okay? I said too bored, I meant too boring. Okay, so as far as the information goes, you pretty much get the same thing. Again, the generation 2 has a little bit more, and then of course you have the secondary functions. And what do I mean by that? You hold on to the button and it will take you to the start, sync, sleep, and pair. Now, when you want to pair it to your phone, of course, you go on a pair and then you search your phone, put your phone on a searching mode and it will find it. And then the start indicates start a timer or stopwatch, okay, and you hold it and it stops it. And then in here they added sleep. I don't know if anybody is really using this device to basically go with the sleep mode or something like that, because again, to me, these just don't have enough sensor to track the sleep, or potentially do not notify you of any notifications, or potentially even become more accurate with data because you're telling it that at certain times you're at sleep. Okay, so I might be a little bit negative here, but this is not the cup of tea for me. All right. Now, why would I say that? I would say that in comparison to the generation 3 and generation 4. Okay. I'm always the guy that spends a little bit extra, 10, 20 bucks extra, but make sure that I buy something that I enjoy using. And no, I don't do that with cars, even though I like certain brands, but I consider the reliability as well. But in here, I aim for, with technology basically, I aim for that little extra performance. That makes me happy. That makes me proud. That makes me want to wear that watch. That makes me enjoy using it. And later on, it will always, when it comes to the resale value, back me up. Meaning I can sell them for more money than the average ones. Okay? So again, my perspective so far with regards to the aesthetics is very personal. I just don't like the rectangular shape. I would rather have something square or in different shapes that shows me the time when I raise my wrist or turn my wrist in order to read it carefully and basically easily than doing calculation or do any guesswork. Okay. As far as the display, again, I said that I would rather have a little bit more color to it, and I understand they didn't do it for battery efficiency purposes. And yeah, other than that, I think the band is very comfortable. I think the 2 is definitely better than generation 1, especially when I used it. I think it's a little bit faster too, so I really enjoyed that. Now the question comes down to, would I recommend it to somebody who's just getting started, especially at children? All right, your children, your kids, your grandsons, your niece that you're trying to be nice and purchase one of these for. Absolutely. Because even if they demolish it, it's only 30 bucks, okay? Well, especially we're talking about generation 1. Even if they fall down and tear the band, you can just boom, pop it out, and then take the whole watch out and replace it. Even if they use it 24/7, and 24/7 is a kind of extreme version, but like every day to track their steps and put it on, I don't know, the stopwatch mode in order to count the seconds and minutes that they're running and all of that because they're a runner or they're into the sport, then of course I will go for this. Yes, the battery might likely run out a little bit faster than usual, but at least replacing it is just 4 screws and about 50 cents in batteries. Versus if something happens to, let's say, a Vivo Smart 4, with the charger, you're spending 12 bucks. With the battery, good luck finding somebody who has the expertise to replace the battery on these. Or if the screen is shattered, or if the band is torn. I have a dedicated video for Vivo Smart 4, so if you're interested, link will be in the description. So yeah, if we're talking about a child, if we're talking about a newcomer who's in high school, sure. But if we're talking about someone more responsible, even if we're talking about a kid that has been showing a responsible track record for so long, I would spend the extra money and go with 4. No doubts. All right? So I'm gonna have another video talking about the generation 3 and 4. Okay, but I'm gonna stop this video here because I think when it gets longer, not many people will watch it. Thank you for your attention, and I'll be back with the next video, kind of picking up where I stopped with the Vivofit 1 and 2, because I kind of want to talk about the cool future of it, which I basically did, but didn't specify it, and then go over the Vivofit 3 and 4. All right, until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.